Have you ever come to your person before and come to them and asked, "Hey, I would like to talk about this thing that's bothering me," or "I would like to talk about making these steps together," or "I would like to make this request of you because this is what I need right now." If you have, I feel like most people do in relationships. Um, How many of those occasions have turned into fights? And I ask because, logically speaking, those shouldn't be fights, right? You love one another, you want to serve each other, and you want to make each other feel loved and appreciated, right? And secure even, right? Now, what do you do if they somehow spin it and it turns into an argument? Let me give you an example. There was once I asked for reassurance, and I made it known that that's what I needed because I felt a certain way about certain behaviors, so I needed some reassurance, and I made that very clear. There was no attack, there was no disrespect, nothing. Just a, hey, this is kind of how I'm feeling right now. Um, could I ask you to do this for me? And then we spent the next 2 days fighting about that. And it was twisted into, what more can I do for you? And um, you're questioning my honor and my loyalty and questioning my character. Now, I would understand if it was an all the time thing, right? Then I could understand a little bit of annoyance in that regard. Um, what I don't understand is, let's say you see your partner flirting with other people on social media, making suggestive comments, and that doesn't make you feel good. So you ask them about it, right? And then that turns into an argument because it's just for show and social media isn't real, right? But I think most people know that how you portray yourself on social media matters in a relationship for a whole lot of different reasons. One of those reasons being, you're in a relationship. That relationship needs to be respected on both sides, not one or the other, both sides. And that relationship needs to be considered whenever you do anything, especially when it comes to social media, because people get the wrong idea and they decide to take it one step too far, and then it becomes a problem on social media. And there are creators out there who are in relationships, and they do like sex work and stuff like that, and you I somehow that somehow they make that work. I assume if it's a healthy relationship with sex work involved, you have to do a lot of communication, and there are a lot of moments of reassurance and a little extra care when it comes to certain things. That's what I would imagine, because I feel like that's what would work to make that relationship healthy. If it's somebody who is just trying to manipulate you, then what is going to happen is every time you make a request like that or talk about certain things, it's going to be an argument, um, and they're gonna make it your fault. because you had the gall to bring it up, and they're going to say that you created an issue when there was no issue. Ask me how I know. Um so whenever you're being manipulated that way into believing that you're the problem for feeling a certain way, then I think it's time to either figure out um if that person is the one for you or if there's something else happening, because both either that person is not for you or something else is happening that you don't know about. In my general experience, that's how it's been. And so just look out for that stuff. Watch out for watch out for the people who make things your fault whenever there was no problem to begin with. If they say that you are creating an issue by coming to your person for reassurance or wanting to take steps in your relationship, or even something as simple as spending more time together, and somehow that causes an issue, that person doesn't need to be in a relationship, for one, and two, they are not the person for you. They're just not. Because anybody who loves you, if you come to them with something like that, especially if it comes to reassurance, they're not going to just toss you aside or make a problem out of no problem. They're going to listen to you, they're going to have a conversation with you, and they're going to do what needs to be done for your sake because they love you. It is not a matter of this will happen. Now, sometimes even in a healthy relationship, miscommunication can happen and that can cause a problem. That's different. Miscommunication versus everything turning into a problem where there isn't a problem are totally different things. In the event that miscommunication happens and that's what causes a problem, that's a different conversation. That's when you kind of have to put emotions aside, because you're going to be taken aback whenever whenever the argument starts. You're going to be taken aback, and that's how it's always going to go for the first few times, or even if um it's a one-time thing, you're going to be taken aback. And what's going to happen in that case is you're going to have to put emotions aside and ask, what did they hear? How did this come across to you? You know what I mean? And if you can work it out from that point, great. That's what you want, because it's miscommunication has now caused conflict and you need the conflict resolution. And when it comes to conflict resolution, both people have to be willing to communicate. And a major factor of communication is listening to on both sides. It can't be one or the other. One person cannot take more importance than the other. They both have to be heard in order for communication to work. Comprehension is very important. Comprehension is very, very important when it comes to communication. This video is things that you need to look out for in terms of manipulation in your relationship. You have to look out for tactics, and you have to look out for why someone would be creating a problem out of something that wasn't a problem. If it's something as simple as miscommunication, and believe me, it is simple, it's not complicated, at all. It's hard. Communication can be very hard, but it is not complicated. Most things in relationships are not complicated. Hard, but not complicated. Both people have to be willing to put in the work, and that takes communication. Changes have to happen when changes have to happen. And that's not a you have to change your whole personality. That's a you need to consider your person's feelings. And I would hope that everybody would be willing to do something like that, because that's what a relationship is about, right? You get into a relationship to spend forever with that person. It's not I don't know anybody who gets in a relationship with the intention of just leaving or never putting any sort of work in. I feel like the people that I associate with get in relationships for the end game. And in order for that end goal to happen, that happy life together, the house, the kids, all that shit, it takes a lot of work, and it's hard, but it's not complicated. So if someone is making you feel like it is way too complicated, question why that is, because that could come down to a variety of things. That could be like maybe trauma, and maybe they need to go to therapy, or they need to do some reflection and figure out how to do inner work and make changes happen that way. Or it could be totally possible that something is happening that you don't know about. There's a wide variety. It's a very big range of things that could be happening that would cause such a thing. So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to do any sort of communicating. Also, since we're on the subject of communication, if you are being vulnerable and you are communicating where you're at emotionally, or this is where I'm at today, just for communication's sake, this is where I'm at today, and that turns into an argument because now you're quote unquote putting your shit on them, I don't believe that's the person for you. I don't believe that person is ready for a relationship or belongs in one. Not a real one, anyway. Not one for growth. They might want those bullshit situationships. Those bullshit situationships that people were pushing for a long time, or that was so common for a while. Because for whatever reason, people want the benefits but no attachment or work. They just want the benefits. They want literally a friends with benefits situation, and that involves everything that comes with a relationship without the attachment or work. And I fucking hate that shit. Oh my god, do I hate that shit. So yeah, just pay attention. Figure out why certain things are happening. If something like manipulation is happening, or like they are placing blame on you for creating an issue whenever you were just trying to communicate, you might need to look into moving on, depending on how that goes after the first time. Because if it doesn't come down to miscommunication and they're not willing to hear you, then maybe you need to move on. Be very aware of who you're getting involved with. Take the time to get to know your person before you get committed. That's very important. And if they're really good at putting on a face and it takes longer than you ever thought it would, and it just so happens that after you after you have gotten invested, then you discover the face beneath the mask, then you still need to take off. Because if it's going to be someone toxic and someone who doesn't want anything to do with the progression and the actual steps in a relationship or building a foundation even, um, it's not going to happen. If they don't care to make that kind of thing happen with you, then it's never going to happen. No matter how hard you try to make that happen, it will not happen. So just keep an eye out for that sort of thing. That's all I have for that one. I'll see you in the next one.